Have you ever pondered the possibility of us not being alone in the universe? The question has intrigued and baffled mankind for centuries, sparking countless debates and theories. One such discussion recently took center stage in Mexico, where the subject of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, was brought to the forefront of legislative discourse. Yes, you heard right, a UFO hearing in a national congress. Now, if that doesn't pique your curiosity, I don't know what will. Stay with us as we delve into the fascinating details of the recent UFO hearing in Mexico. On a not-so-distant date, the Mexican Congress was host to an extraordinary hearing. A hearing like none other, focused on the enigmatic topic of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. The initiative was taken by Mexican Congressman Sergio Gutierrez, who harbored hopes that this hearing would be the first of many of its kind in Mexico. During the course of this intriguing session, legislators were presented with what were claimed to be the remains of non-human beings. These remains, alleged to be about 1,000 years old, were discovered near the Nazca lines in Peru. An unusual find indeed, with 3 fingers on each hand and elongated heads. However, it's worth noting that similar finds in the past have been revealed to be mummified children, casting a shadow of doubt over these extraordinary claims. The National Autonomous University of Mexico, or UNAM, clarified that their role was limited to determining the age of the samples, and they did not draw any conclusions about their origin. The main presenter of these alleged alien remains was Jaime Maussan, a self-proclaimed ufologist and journalist. His reputation precedes him, though, as he has a history of making bold claims about extraterrestrial life. He argued that DNA testing could prove these bodies were not of terrestrial origin, a claim that was met with skepticism from critics, including researcher Julieta Fierro. Maussan was accompanied by José de Jesus Zalche Benitez, the director of the Scientific Institute for Health of the Mexican Navy. Benitez presented scans of the bodies and described their peculiar features in detail. The hearing was further enlivened by the presence of Ryan Graves, a former US Navy pilot, who had previously testified before Congress about his alleged encounters with a UFO. But as it turns out, not everyone was convinced about the authenticity of these presentations. As with any claim of such magnitude, there were skeptics who questioned the validity of the alleged alien remains. The UFO hearing in Mexico was no exception to this rule. Critics came forward in droves, casting doubt on the authenticity of the presented evidence. One vocal skeptic was researcher Julieta Fierro. She expressed skepticism about the authenticity of the presentation and questioned the claims made by the presenter, Jaime Maussan. Fierro wasn't alone in her doubts. Many echoed her sentiments, questioning the credibility of the evidence and the presenter himself. It's worth noting that Maussan is no stranger to controversy. He has a history of making eye-catching claims about extraterrestrial life that have later been debunked. For instance, a few years ago he reported on an alleged alien body found in Peru. This claim, however, was later proven to be false. The supposed alien was in fact a human child with a head deformity, but the controversies don't end there. There was also the issue of the National Autonomous University of Mexico's UNAM involvement. UNAM conducted DNA tests on the samples, but they were quick to clarify that their analysis was only intended to determine the age of the samples. They did not make any conclusions about their origin. This left a gap in the narrative that Maussan was trying to construct, and added fuel to the fire of skepticism. The controversies surrounding this hearing are emblematic of the broader debates in the field of ufology. For every person who believes in the existence of extraterrestrial life, there are others who remain skeptical. They demand concrete, irrefutable evidence, and until such evidence is presented, they remain unconvinced. So in the case of the Mexican UFO hearing, the controversy continues. The evidence presented by Maussan has been questioned, and his credibility has been scrutinized. In the end, no definitive conclusions have been reached. So, as the dust settles on this UFO hearing, we are left with more questions than answers. The UFO hearing in Mexico has certainly stirred the pot. It's reignited discussions, debates, and even doubts about the existence of extraterrestrial life. This event has drawn a line in the sand, with believers on one side and skeptics on the other. For some, it's a step towards unraveling the mysteries of the universe, while others see it as nothing more than a spectacle. The aftermath of this hearing could lay the groundwork for future investigations and hearings, possibly influencing how we approach the UFO phenomenon. It's a reminder that we're still searching, still questioning. Whether we are alone or not, one thing is for sure: our curiosity about the unknown is far from being quenched.